So this is our last guest speaker, and this is like if you're at a Whitesnake concert or a Poison concert, and they come off stage, and everybody keeps cheering because they want more and an encore, encore. This is my encore. I saved him for last for a reason. All the other guest speakers and all the other nonsense that I talked about all semester, this is the bow. This is my little bow that wraps it up really pretty. So this is James Schleicher.
Now, hopefully I don't let you all down. So my name is James Schleicher. I graduated from Notre Dame in 2007. I'm going to rattle off all this nonsense just to kind of give you a picture of kind of where I started and how I got here. The rest of the time we're going to be very interactive, talking about what's your career plan, what's your career goals, and then what actions you're looking to take it. So think of how GPAs, that's how you are graded, right? That's how you know, am I succeeding or failing? Like all through school, your GPA says success, failure, somewhere in between. You know where you stand.
I don't
right?
return these to the cafeteria.
I die. Okay. You guys remember to not let us forget to return those. So a big thing that was very terrifying for me and very, I felt extremely lost when I graduated, because how do I determine success now that there's no syllabus, right? There's no curriculum that's handed to me and said, okay, so here's all you got to do. All you got to do is pick up that marker, open it 5 times, and then make sure you get a C or better, and then you graduate. Congratulations. That goes away. So what's cool in the career world is you can do anything. What's terrifying in the career world is you can do anything. And how do you determine if you're going to be good at it or not? So what we're going to talk about is what is your goals, what's your plan to reach those goals, and what is the actions that you're going to take immediately to achieve that. So think of it as just how you have GPA in school. What I talk about and dig into with you is what is your GPA for life. And that is whether it's professional or personal, it all boils down to this. You got to have a goal, you got to have a plan, you got to take action. If you don't do those 3 things, then you're just kind of wandering through life, and it sucks. I've been there. So graduated in 07, makes me old now. Notre Dame story. So basically, I came here to run track. Did not have a track. We don't have a track team anymore, but ran cross country and track. Do not go to, you're here already, but if you know anybody that's looking to just go to college to run track, tell them, hey, you might want to reconsider, maybe have a plan. So why am I so obsessed about this? It's because I live life the opposite way. And I got lucky that it did work out to a certain extent. But no plan, just want to run track cross country. Messed up my hip really bad. Parents got divorced. The relationship I was in, I was dating my high school sweetheart. She was here. Then we broke up, and that was a whole other drama thing because the school was even smaller then. So basically, but just think of in high school, I had my identity. Things started going wrong in college, so I had an identity crisis. It's like if I'm not her boyfriend, if I'm not a star track cross country athlete, then who am I? So think of it as whatever your identity is now, it's all about constantly reinventing yourself. You're gonna have to reinvent yourself every single day. I am obsessed with getting better every single day because it's fun because you can immediately, the better you get, magically the better everything around you gets. So make it a game, have fun. Mr. Monday was so Jason Chuhey was on the track team and he knocked on my dorm room. He transferred in from Tri-C, he was a junior. I was a freshman, he had to retake some classes, whatever. He was like, all right, Schleicher, we gotta study. And I just kind of laughed, you're funny. I'm like, dude, the test is in 2 weeks. What are you talking about? He's like, we gotta study, man. We gotta make sure that we're studying, we're ready for the test, and What I did to study was I just binged the night before and crammed the morning of, and did terrible on tests, and got mad at the teacher. You know, like, well, the teacher just made the test so hard. Well, it's just, I was a terrible, terrible scholar. But so think of it as he's a mentor. So when George is talking, you know, first off, you are very lucky to have George as your professor. And I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. I've literally been in your seat, graduated from Notre Dame. Like, there's certain professors that were mentors to me, like George, that I could tell actually cared about me as a person and wanted me to succeed in life, no matter where that went. So, but I also know it's like to have a professor that you can tell it's very transactional and they could care less really what happens to you. So, just take care of George for me, all right? But mentorship, meeting him, networking. We'll talk a lot about networking. You need to find somebody who has been where you want to be. So I'm going to say that again. You need to find a person who has been where you want to be, that is already where you want to go. And you know what I do now is I have mentors that every few months I'll reach out and say, hey, can I buy you lunch? Can I buy you coffee? Like, can we, buy the most expensive meal I can afford? And this is long before I even really had any money to my name. But find the people that can make you better, pay it forward. The right person is going to help you. The right person is going to go out of their way to change your life. So because of one human being, I always introduce Jason as, hey, this, it was nice introducing him to my parents. Later, I was like, this is the reason why I did well in school. This is the reason why I graduated college and didn't flunk out. This is he's the reason I didn't just give up and quit. So, because think of like athletics became a failure. I went here for 5 years. I redshirted my freshman year like an idiot because dude, you're not going pro, just let it go. So I redshirted so I could keep running track. That, everything backfired, but academics became my success. That became my new identity. I went from being a dumb kid to being a smart kid. And it was really cool. I never had any appreciation for it. But again, it's just because school didn't come easy to me. I actually got diagnosed with ADHD after college. It would have been nice to know before that. Just to lock myself in the library, the highlighter, and just try and block out all the noise and try and read a page or two of a book. But graduated with honors. I was president of student government for a couple of years. Was editor of the newspaper. They got the Who's Who Award for colleges and universities. There's Kappa Gamma Pi, which is like, I think it's the top 50 graduates in I think top 500. But basically, it's just for Catholic universities, they pick the top 500 in the country, and that was one of those. So that was really cool. And my resume was rock star status. So this is obviously something that you're going to be working on is, hey, what's your resume say? What does the piece of paper say about you? So what I learned is nothing against you, and there was nothing against me. Question, when I graduated, I had a double major in English and communications, double minor in psychology and writing. I walked across the stage, got my degrees. Was there anybody waiting to hire me? Was anybody sitting there like, oh, 6-figure income. You are now a leader or manager. You got 100 employees. Benefits. Here's your company car. There was nobody waiting for me. For some reason in my head, I was like, if I just build up my resume, if I just get my GPA high enough, like they'll be banging on the door. They'll be like, James, thank God you graduated. We've been waiting for you. So that was very depressing that it was just, I was interviewing a bunch of places, couldn't get a job. Now I graduated with 7. 2008 ended up being the second worst economic time period in our history. I didn't know that was coming. So I decided, well, if I can't find a job, I'll go into business for myself. I'll do something for myself. So what ended up happening was when I graduated, no job. I was living in my grandma's basement for $50 a month. I got lucky there. I had $18 in my checking account, and I had $50,000 in student loans because I wanted to run track. So notice how the life transitions get very overwhelming very fast. You have these identity crises that will continue to happen in life. So I had to once again reinvent myself. I had no experience in business. I thought people in business were just money hungry, evil people that were out to just harm everyone. So Porch, what I want to talk about that is, so we would set a meeting, say, hey, we want to talk to you about what we do, and what's your name is? Aaron. So I call Aaron up, so we used to talk on the phones, it was good times, but so call Aaron, hey Aaron, I'm James, I do this for a living, wanted to come out and talk to you about it, see maybe if it's, maybe if it's something you'd be interested in. Aaron says, sure James, come on out. Okay, where do you live? Oh, I live 3 hours away. Oh, cool, I'll be right there. So I would drive my car that would break down in people's driveways, by the way, that was fun. Sucks. But I would go to her house, and I'd pull in the driveway, be in my suit and tie, all business-like, and I'd knock on the door, and Erin would have her window open. I could see that both cars were in the driveway, the TV's on. And then I could hear Erin say to her significant other, don't answer, it's him. And then inside, I died about 100 times, but that would happen constantly. So that's one thing, if you want to venture into business, like George was talking about with what he does, there's going to be way more people telling you, this is dumb, this is stupid, you're never going to succeed, and people are going to treat you less than human, and it's going to suck. So that's where, again, having that, like the guts and that inner fortitude of like, I am not, my identity is, this is not me. I'm not a loser, I'm not a failure. This is just, it comes with the territory. All right, I don't like starting the videos, but so like, the guy I ran track with, Jeremy Kinchis, he's an awesome dude, very successful now, great father, great husband. One thing he said, one of his favorite quotes, is you have to eat before you can eat steak. And if you're vegan, vegetarian, yeah, it's good stuff. If you're vegan, vegetarian, just like whatever, insert whatever your favorite food is to the steak. But so why I'm sharing that is that it's very easy to quit. It's very easy to give up, and it's very easy to think that you are worth less than what you are. So if you remember anything, so whether it's a year from now, 5, 10 years later, like if someone's treating you like crap and you're being treated less than human for chasing your dreams and your goals, just remember like, okay, that crazy guy that came in and talked in George's class, like he told me about this, comes with the territory, I'm not gonna quit. So, no experience, don't know what I'm doing, treated less than human, but because I was able to apply what I learned in college, so think of like, athletics was finite. It was ending whether I wanted it to or not. I can't run 100 miles a week forever. Infinite was, the nerd in me was unleashed. I wanted to know more. I wanted to get better. Okay, so raise your hand if you like nerding out and learning new things. So if it's something you like. You don't like learning anything you like? Not new things? All right, but you like learning more about what you like. Okay, cool. So think of it as, what I'll say here is, I sucked at school, but I didn't suck at putting more effort into other people, into it than other people did. So think of it as, I graduated, I think it was like a 3.5 something. That was probably about 6.0 GPA worth of work to get a 3.5. So so I applied, what I learned in school was that if I dive into something, I put everything into it, my goal is to become the expert. So, repeat after me, I will be the expert. Of whatever I do. Because it's awesome. Alright, cool. And this is something where like through COVID and all, you see like the longevity of businesses is getting shorter. Okay? You have technology, you have a whole bunch of different things happening. But ultimately, just understand, as long as you are the expert of something, you are irreplaceable. Okay? Your company might go out of business, or things will change in your industry, but people continue to come to our team because we're the experts. Not because we offer the same products and services as hundreds of thousands of people all around the world. Technically, what the services we offer, people could do themselves. So that if you can become the expert, what is waiting for you is now we've been the #1 team for our firm for the last 6 years. We're ahead of where we were last year, so hopefully it'll be 7 years in a row. And we're ranked top 6% in the world at what we do.
He's my money guy, by the way.
So yeah.
There's the level of trust.
They're like, oh, you handle Jordan's money? All right, you're top 6%, baby.
Shit. Shit.
So just think, so I don't care where you are. You are going to start from the bottom again. So think of you went from high school to here, right? Your freshman year here, your first day here, you're like, I'm at the bottom again. You're gonna be at the bottom again. So me, December I got promoted to officially run the entire office. Guess what? We're in the lead, we're #1, but there's a learning curve because now there's things that I need to learn and I need to reinvent myself and get better at certain things that I struggle with, okay? There's no excuses to like, well, I was really good in that position, now that I'm promoted, I'll ride my success in the past into the future. You can't do it. So, this is very important for me. First 5 years, I was obsessed with success. I became a manager. So this is management and leadership, right? So quick question.
Sort of.
Do people talk about great managers? Like, Gandhi was the greatest micromanager to ever live. Like Gandhi had all these spreadsheets and everything. Like he was the best at managing. They talk about that. They talk about leadership, all right? And there's servant leadership. Is that the correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So servant leadership. So think of we're #1 not because I'm the best boss or taker. I'm the best giver. I'm the best at leading by example. And I would say I'm the best at admitting when I've completely screwed up, which is multiple times a day. I'm really good at screwing up. So the first 5 years, going back to identity crisis, depression, emptiness, finite, I chased a position that I thought was going to make me successful. So if I'm a manager or I'm a leader on paper, my business card says, man, I stopped wearing my seatbelt. I'm like, I'm gone. Who's going to even care? If this is success, I'm over it. Like I did everything I was supposed to do. Did everything right, and this is miserable. But because I wasn't chasing something greater than myself. Okay? This is where I got caught in the trap of chasing money, chasing position. Does this make sense? This is the cliche, I'm gonna be successful. And especially when I graduated here with no job, I was out for blood. I was out for vengeance. That I would come back here one day and speak to all of you and say, ha! I told you I wasn't a loser. Told you I wasn't a failure. So you have to have that chip on your shoulder. You have to have that edge going into whatever career path you go. You want to be a fighter and fight for what you want, but you can't let it drive you to the wrong things, and that's what we're going to get into. So last 9, 10 years, happiness and joy. Another cliche. Who wants to be happy? Raise your hand. Okay? Stop chasing things that make you miserable. All right? Even if it is what people tell you you should do. So you can please write this down somewhere. Write the word should.
Don't give Donovan a pen.
What's that?
Don't give Donovan a pen.
No, it's too strong. And then I need you to exit that out. The word should is the most dangerous word on the planet because we get caught up in, and this could be me and Jordan with the best intentions, telling you, hey, you should do this, you should do that, okay? But at the end of the day, you have to know in your gut that we're wrong and you're right. Does that make sense? Family, friends, as much as when I told my grandma I was going to do this, do you think she was happy for me, or do you think she started crying immediately and begged me to please do my degrees? What did grandma do? Yeah, you would think she'd be happy. I was like, Grandma, this is what I'm doing. And I just moved into her basement and she started crying. Immediately started crying. She said, no one's going to do business with you. No one's going to do business. Not in this economy. Why did she tell me that? Why was she so terrified? Do you want me to get hurt? What else?
I'm scared of failure.
Scared of failure? What else?
Hurt experience.
What's that?
I said her experience.
Mm-hmm. So my grandma grew up picking cotton on a farm in Tennessee. When she was like 4 or 5 years old, they're chopping off the heads of chickens. Not even they're scared to look. She said, I don't know why. I don't even know how we have our hands anymore. But she had a very, very hard life. And then she came to, luckiest thing for me, she came to Cleveland, found, her own career, job opportunity, reinvented herself. She didn't want me to hurt, and she didn't want me to experience failure, and she didn't want, like people with the best intentions and in true, genuine love for you are going to give you bad advice. So when George, again, making that comment about like people that loved him dearly, don't do this thing, don't do this basketball team, don't do this, don't do it, you're crazy. So if people are telling you you're crazy and you're out of your mind, that means you're usually on to the right thing. You're probably on to something that is actually going to make you happy. Because people don't, it's not other people's job to understand what makes you happy. I mean, if something makes you happy, do it. Okay, now, this way, when I was coaching track, I actually was able to go back and coach track when I was in high school. So everybody's, you want to jot this down too. It's all about making the mundane fun. How can you make the things that you don't like to do a game, make it fun, and then how do you make the fun things more fun, ... legally. So I'm saying, if it makes you happy, do it. If it's legal and it makes you happy, please, have a good time. So what I'll talk more the rest of this time is talking about legacy, purpose, and meaning. I was very lucky that I was able to have dinner with, he's the former president of Shell Oil, ran like the United States portion, but he said you need a 50-year life plan before you can even pretend to develop your 30-year career plan. Now at this point, I was 5 years in. I had bought my first house. I had bought a car that didn't break down in people's driveways. I had more than $18 in my checking. I could do the things I wanted to do, but this is where I was at. I was still stuck in this vicious cycle of just chasing the wrong things. I didn't change industries. I didn't change companies. I didn't change, nothing changed when this happened, other than I created my 50-year life plan and my 30-year career plan. So at the time, I was 28 years old. So I asked myself, well, 50 years, how old will I be? I'm like, first off, this guy's crazy, right? So if something sounds crazy, but you can't let go of it, it's probably the right thing to do. Okay, so 50-year life plan, having that might sound crazy, the best thing you can do. But I was like, how old will I be 50 years from now? I'll be 78. I might be dead. I might not make it to 78. So raise your hand, have you ever said, I'll do it tomorrow? All right, we've all been there. I'm the king of procrastination. And what it did was, instead of me saying like, well, I got time to read those books, I have time to build that networking group, I have time to do all these things, it got very real very fast as to, I don't have forever. We are finite. Life is an infinite game. We are finite players playing. And you want to jot this down? They're infinite games. So I just finished reading this book, so I'm referencing it a lot, by Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek is awesome. You can YouTube stuff, or you can read it, whatever you want to do. I suck at reading. World's worst reader. I have books that I want to read, and they just sit there and collect dust. But on audiobooks, I get through about a book a week. And that is something that the two things in your life that will change it for the better, the people you meet, you want to write that down, it's the people you meet and the books you read. So think of it as, I have all kinds of knowledge and experience that I haven't had to experience. I didn't have to do it myself. I've learned it from people smarter than me, more successful than me, and farther along in life than me. So what's the point of having George as your mentor and your leader and your champion of your success? It's because he's been through a lot of things, and hopefully you don't have to experience the failure side of it. You can get ahead of the failure curve. So, let's see. I think it's any questions on this before we jump into anything else? Anything on this you're just like, that didn't really make sense to me? There's no bad questions or wrong answers or anything.
How did you make like the 50-year?
Great question. So the 50-year life plan. So first off, let's just get rid of this. That's not gonna work. All right. All right, here we go. Is it Aaron, E-R-I-N? Okay, so we got Aaron. So 50-year life, 30-year career. So you start with the next 5 years. So write down, 5-year plan. So you want a 5-year plan. And you want your top 3 goals per year. In my book I talk about, and it's nothing I came up with, but like think of like your top 3 goals. It's like, okay, I have a bajillion goals that all these things I would want to do, but how you can kind of narrow it down. Am I breaking it? I'm not allowed back, I'm just breaking things here. So there's FPP is how I did it, but it's what is your financial goal? What's your top financial goal? What's your top professional goal? And what is your top personal goal? And of these 3, what is the driving force and the number one thing you should be focused on? My driving force was professional and financial goals. Down here, my driving force was my personal, who I was going to become, not what I was going to do, not what boxes of life I was going to check, just how I was going to reinvent myself and what legacy I was going to leave. Okay? So, let the personal drive, like your professional choices. You know, if you get 2 jobs, say you get 2 job offers, and what's cool is like I love having these conversations. Of, you know, people will call us, and we're not like career advisors. Or this is just something that I'm obsessed with because I did it the very wrong way, did it the very right way, and I like sharing my story and trying to hope people don't have to do what I did. You have 2 job offers. One might pay you more money. So remember, it's about should. I should take this because it pays more money, right? I should take this because it's more professional. It's more respectable. It's more of the, I don't know, you fit into society better on paper, if that makes sense. So like, I didn't want to be a manager because I want to be a manager. I was like, well, society says managers are leaders and successful. So that's why I wanted it. I didn't want it for the right reasons. So your personal, like, your personal goals should be your compass. Does that make sense? And that should help you decide. If it's only money. You can't get more time back. As much as I would love to, I can't get more time back. My grandpa always said, it's only money. Just go back to work, make more. You know? So, if you don't be a prisoner of your financial and professional decisions. I'm going to leave it there. So this makes sense. So next 5 years, what's my top financial goal, top professional goal, top personal goal? And then you kind of attach your career goals to your life plan. Because if I know what I want personally, professionally, financially, then I can take a look and be like, well, if these are my goals, I got to get out of this job. Or if these are my goals, then I got to stay in this position, but I got to level up. I got to ask my manager, I got to ask my leader on my team to say, what can I do better? What can I take off your plate to achieve greater, help you succeed so that we can succeed together as a team. So, Aaron, do you mind being our test subject? Is everybody cool if Aaron's our test subject for this? Okay. And then depending on time, I'd like to kind of have everybody talk about a goal that they have. So, what is a financial goal that you have? So first off, what are you, freshman, sophomore? Sophomore? Okay, so sophomore. Everything I touch breaks. All right, cool. So just don't let me touch anything that's important to you because it will break. So what is a financial goal that you have? And then you can say the next year, and then anything between the next year and next 5 years.
Like, as like a salary?
Just it could be like I want to save more, or I want to spend on, I want to spend money on things that make me happy.
Probably like saving a lot more, like now and early to like invest it and get it higher.
Okay, so for financial goal, and could that be a goal that's kind of like a repeating thing? That could be an infinite goal, right? That could be something that you could do and could change your life, not just now, but forever. All right? So her financial goal, save more, right? Do you have any control over what salary you're going to get? Do you have any control over like what wages you're going to get once you graduate? Depends. Right? It's you do, but you don't, if that makes sense. So it depends on, okay, now right now, they're calling it wage inflation, so things are, when I was working at my hourly jobs in college, I was getting paid $5 an hour. No one in their right mind would take a job for $5 an hour right now, right? So things change. But for example, going back to, can you control, so Erin wants to save more, and then she goes and she interviews for a job, and they're going to pay you more, so then you can save more. But you start, and the culture there is toxic. And so again, talking about terrible leadership, terrible management. A lot of people I talk to, when work comes up, it's like the most stressful thing in their life. It's the most toxic thing in their life. And it's not what they're doing. It's not who they're working with. It's who they're working for. The rise and fall of your stress levels will a lot of times be your manager or your team lead, or whoever they decide to put on the business card. Does that make sense? So if she's got an opportunity to make $25 an hour instead of $20 an hour, but it's a toxic environment, and she is going to hate life and she's going to despise going into work, should she go $20 an hour and enjoy what she does, save a little less, but like, who cares how much money you have if you're not around to enjoy it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, stress is going to kill us. Stop. I mean, like, you're going to have stress. Stress is good. But, like, there's some stress that you can cut out and avoid. Get all fired up. I'm so sorry. Chill out. So does that make sense? So your professional goal, this might be something, so what's you have like a major that you pick? HR management. Please reach out to me. My wife's in HR, and she's just been kicking. She makes me look like I don't plan at all. Like I have no goals.
She's smart.
She's actually smart. That's the big difference.
You went way above your pay grade, brother.
She's made my life way better. So you, some way, shape, or form, you want to be in HR. Okay? So you can just fire all of us? Is that what you were trying to do? That's what Era's in for, right? Just
I hope to be like in hospitals is my goal.
Hospital, okay.
In big, large corporations.
Okay. Do large hospitals and big corporations, do they have a reputation for things being run right and like, how do I say this? Do they have the reputation for toxic environments or like happy environments?
I think it depends. But you could say both.
Mm-hmm. So it might not even be just the company, but it could be the location. So if you come talk to our team, it's a much different experience than you go talk to a team somewhere else in the country that, under the same firm that we clear through. Okay? So do you have the opportunity as the HR person to create, even if it's a toxic environment, to create something that people enjoy and love what they do? Okay. So is it going to be because you're a manager, because you're a leader. It's all the things that aren't on your business card. It's all the things that aren't, just checking the box. So, awesome. So yeah, please reach out. I don't know if like they do. She's with Avery Dennison. So I don't know if they do internships, whatever you need, just let me know. So HR. So think of like that's the path. If you change your mind, is that okay? Well, hey, you're HR. You should be in HR because your major, right? I have an English and communications major, psychology and writing minor. I technically use them, but what I do has nothing to do with that. So again, if you arrive at the finish line like I did, and you're just like, this is not what I expected, this is not what I thought it was going to be, is it okay to change your mind? It's never okay to quit on yourself, you know what I mean? But it's okay to change your mind and say, oh, I'm going to go this path now. Okay? So, personal goal. What's a personal goal that you have over the next 5 years?
I want to move out of my city. The goal, I don't know if it'll be 5 years, but is to live in North Carolina.
Okay.
But if at least in 5 years, Columbus area.
Okay. Why?
I'm ready to branch off from my home and my parents and stuff like that, and I feel like there's definitely better resources in other places.
Okay.
I mean, I'm from Medina, so I'm from a big city and stuff, but I feel like just getting out of where you're from is good and helps you grow and pushing boundaries. And I've always wanted to live, so I've always wanted to live more south, but I feel like Columbus also, I can't go more south because there's a lot of opportunities.
Okay. Would everybody kind of agree with what her reasoning is? Would that make sense to you? You support her on that? Hey, that makes sense to me? What happens when you move to Columbus and you hate it? Not saying you will, but that happened. Is it okay? Are you a failure and a loser if you move back? No. You go to North Carolina and you're like, it is way too hot here. It's okay, all right? Next year, you do the same exercise. Maybe you're in the same class. I come back and I go on my rants and you're like, is it okay for your goals to completely change? If you are constantly reinventing yourself and getting better, your goals should change. So just don't get stuck. What I'll say is you have to be careful with the vows and the promises you make yourself, because they, in a good way, if it's a good thing, it basically solidifies itself in your subconscious. I almost didn't even make it through our first year of marriage. When I got married, a few weeks in, my wife, as I'm leaving for work, my wife says, I need to talk to you. I feel disconnected. So two things. One, my man brain doesn't know what that means. And then secondly, I'm like, well, this isn't good. But it took time and conversation. Remember, I have these plans, these goals. The vow I made to myself day one when I started, I will work every hour, every day, till I can't function and have to go to sleep and have to rest for the first 10 years of my business. And at that point, I was 7 years in. So what I was screaming inside was, I only have 3 more years to go. Why can't you just understand that I just need 3 more years of this? I just need 3 more years to just work every hour, every day. And when I told myself, if I build something that's great, cool. If I build something that sucks, okay, I'll deal with it. So again, talking about, I had an identity crisis. I'm this workhorse. I'm this relentless business person that will not stop for anything. And I had to basically start to change my life and the promise that I made to myself to make sure that my marriage lasted. There's the book called 5 Love Languages. I would check that out. Regardless if you're married or in a relationship at all, but it talks about what types of languages there are for love. And my wife is quality time and acts of service. So quality time, that's her top thing, is she needs time with me. Nothing in my business model had time to chill out and hang out. It was go, 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 I don't have time to hang out. So acts of service, even when we first started dating, like I hate dishes. When I was living by myself, I would not use a dish to eat. I would use a paper towel or a napkin, lean over it, wipe up the crumbs, and that was like, I did anything I could not to use dishes. But what I found was, for her, me doing the dishes makes her love me. Doesn't like it's not like the only thing, but if I want her to be happy in our relationship, I need to do lots and lots of dishes. Okay? So you're gonna have to do, and whether it's at work, in your professional life, or in your personal life, you're gonna have to do a lot of things you don't like to do if you want the relationships in your life to work. Is it making sense at all? I'm trying. I didn't plan all this, but I'm like dumping a lot. So many things I screwed up. And one thing that our CEO of our firm that told me as well that saved my marriage as well. I would say the combination can all happen at the same time. So please, please, please write this down. And that clock, George, that clock's right? It's 20 minutes after?
Yep.
All right, cool. My family doesn't miss me when they're sleeping. Sorry, when they're sleeping. I'll say it again. My family doesn't miss me when they're sleeping. So I love, anything I get my hands on, like a life hack or a business hack or whatever. I asked our CEO, we were like won an award that year, and I was the top guy in our office. So we got to sit next to him, and I said, you get up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. every day. Like I tried, like how do you do it? And I was expecting him to be like, well, business never sleeps, like money can't make itself, blah, blah. I thought it was going to be the cliche business line. But that's what he told me. My family doesn't miss me when you're sleeping. This guy makes me look I do nothing. So, show of hands, who is a night owl? Who prefers to stay up real late? Okay? Who's an early bird? Okay? Okay, so all right. So there's more science to it, but we all have our own internal clock. And so for me, I was a night owl. I could stay up forever. I had to change my life to become an early bird. So I'm up at 3, 4 in the morning every day now. So think of like when I get up, I work out, I meditate, do my thing, get ready for the day, do my emails, do my social media stuff. It's while my 3-year-old, 5-year-old, and my wife are sleeping. So that way, when they're awake, I'm 100% theirs. They don't care that I was scrolling on social media. They don't care that I was doing emails for 30 minutes, an hour. Because they were sleeping. They don't even know. Okay, so any way you can create your life to where reinventing yourself, making yourself better, doing the things for yourself that you absolutely need to do, you have to carve it out in your day. Everybody's got 24 hours. There's no excuses as to why we can't do things. It's just like, hey, I need 3 hours here. It's interrupting and it's ruining my relationships when I do it at 3 p.m. But if I do it at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., that changes everything. So, and last thing, so you say you email me, and you're like, all right, James, thanks for coming in and ranting all about this nonsense. I did have a question on, careers. I had a question about business. And say you email me at 9 a.m., or, well, it's better than hello. Say you email me at noon today. If I reply at 1 a.m. tonight, or midnight, or 10 p.m., like late, like night owl style, right? If I reply to you then, does it seem like I'm behind? Does it seem like I'm behind on my emails? Does it seem like I'm just behind on everything? If I'm replying to things at 10, 11 at night, does it seem like I'm catching up?
I think some people may see it as you're behind, you may think that you're
Correct.
already.
So that's where, and again, the first 7 years of my business, I'm like, I'm staying up all night, answering emails, getting business done. So for me, I'm like, look at me, I'm so far ahead. But the perception on the other end is, man, this guy doesn't have it together. Like, he's replying to emails at 11 o'clock at night. Who doesn't? Like, I don't want to work with somebody who's just behind on everything. So, but if I reply to you at 4 a.m., if I woke you up like I did Dave and George sending a text this morning just to make sure that where we were meeting and all that stuff for today, I'm replying later, right? I'm more behind technically. But if I reply to you at 4 in the morning, 4:30 a.m., what's the perception? You're psycho. Yes, I'm psycho, correct.
You can also,
Psycho.
here's a bad trick that he won't like me saying. You know, in most emails now, you can set it to where it goes when it goes out.
Yep. So that's
So if you're pounding at 12, I do this. If you're pounding at 12 o'clock at night, you set your email to go out at 4:05 a.m.
Yep. So think about it. Nobody. Another reason we're lucky to have George. But that's some. I suck with technology, so I would find a way. Try to come at 4 a.m. and it would just I don't know what would happen.
Except for when you do it and then you accidentally send it and it says good morning and it's like 8 o'clock.
So if I'm replying to your email at 4 a.m., 4:30, first off, you're like, this dude's psycho. All right, I think you guys have gotten that by now by my rants. But it's like, wow, this guy's like on his game, like he's ahead, like he's a go-getter, he's a this, he's a that, right? Like people all the time will tell me, like, man, I'm up at 5 a.m., but you're like, dude, you make me look like I'm not up early, and you know, I don't know how you do it, blah blah blah. Like people started singing my praises when I started replying to emails at 4 or 5 in the morning. No one was singing my praises when I was emailing late at night. So I didn't plan that, but again, these are just things that as you're doing things and as you're reinventing yourself, you have to be aware and in tune with how are people reacting around you. I mean, so again, I'm talking about don't let the opinions of others affect your decisions completely, but if you're doing things a certain way and you're getting better feedback, and maybe you're communicating with George in a certain way, and you shift, and it's not going well. Every time you talk this way to George, he's all cranky, right? He's like, mirror, I'm a professional, mirror. And then, you're like, okay, that's not working well. What if I communicate this way? What if I use these words instead? What if I go about it this way instead? And then he starts to, every time your interaction is like, gets in his, okay, can I do the George? Like, whoa. Like your professional speaking, but you know what I mean? So just pay attention to that stuff. Like think of like if you're having issues in communication with your parents, with friends, family, like whatever. Remember I said make it a game? I learned very quickly that if I can find a way to make it a game of how can I just be so nice to this person, how can I craft this email, how can I craft this conversation to help this person get everything they want and more. Because if I can help you get everything you want and more, am I magically going to probably get more help than if I did it a different way? If I came to you asking for things, I'm just perceived as a taker. Just take. So there's a great book called The Go-Giver. That is the first book I actually read in its entirety. I just sat down and started reading. It's also a smaller book, so my brain can handle it. All right, let's do one more person with their. Anybody want to volunteer?
While you're thinking about who's volunteering, the other thing too is what James said about time management. It's make use of time.
Yes.
You know, I told you guys 1,000 times, my calendar is full and it's color coded. Purple is the campaign, red is junior achievement, blue is Notre Dame. What the hell's Lake Erie? Whatever.
Should be green, right?
But what's that?
Probably green.
Yeah, green. There you go.
There you go.
But
Okay.
use of time.
Extra credit, bonus points.
Now, I always get something out of James's speeches every time he says it. I'll take a picture of the board and I'll print it out and put it in my James folder that I have at my desk. And trust me, I go through it. But I just got about 12 political emails done, set 2 appointments for next week in Columbus, did this, did that, made use of time. You know, Frank LaRose, who's the current Secretary of State, he's a political mentor to me. We talk once a week. And when I first got into this god-awful business, he told me, he goes, I go, how do you deal with all the phone calls? He goes, do dashboard time. So what I do is I always keep a little old school memo pad in my car and I write down who I gotta call back. And when I'm driving from Cleveland to Columbus 3 days a week, bam, make all my phone calls. Political world and sports world, we talk at 2 in the morning. We talk at 11 o'clock at night, so it doesn't matter. And I call coming back. And it's funny because I know now my drive, I time it. When I hit Medina, I know I got 45 minutes to my house. So who's going to talk my ear off too long? So I'll call them first, I'll call them second, I'll call them third. It's use of time, you know. However that works for you is different than it works for me. I'm trying to go paperless, it's not working, so I busted out the 8th grade Trapper Keeper.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. And, but that's another thing, like to piggyback on his thing. Make use of time.
Yeah.
What am I doing that I shouldn't be doing? Or what shouldn't I be doing that I'm doing? Or whatever. Okay? If you have some downtime, you're entitled to decompress. You're entitled to watch a TV show. You're entitled to do this. One of the hiccups you'll find in life, especially if you go into business for yourself, is that guilt. I sit down to watch Young Sheldon that I recorded, and I feel guilty watching it because I should be doing something else. And that's my Achilles heel. So that takes time.
Yeah, for those of you too that do go into business or go
Don't
into
do it.
leadership, management, or whatever it is, like, it never shuts off. Especially now, you know, everything's 24/7, so you have to kind of create boundaries as best you can. But Young Sheldon, so here's the life hack, bro, it's all that. Write this down. Learn a lesson from everything and everyone. So learn a lesson from everything and everyone. Example I'll give you, especially, like, I still look like I'm 12, but, you know, 15 years ago when I started, I looked like I was 4. But I would go out to these meetings, okay, maybe the people did actually answer the door. Get in, start talking about what I do, ask some questions, and I started realizing, especially when I was meeting with people, like during the day, it was usually like people that were retired, and it would turn into that it was like story time about their lives, which was cool, right? If I'm looking at it the right way, if I want to learn a lesson. It was so frustrating. So for like the first 6 months, I would just get so mad when it happened again, because I'm trying to be a professional and a grown-up, talk to them about potentially doing business, and it turns into, aw, it's our grandson James. He stopped by to say hello. Here's a cookie and some milk. You know, it's kind of like, so instead of getting mad, what I started doing, and I still do this, if like a meeting's going kind of nowhere, like if it shouldn't say if it's going nowhere, if I realize like this is not going to be the right fit, I'm not the right fit for them, or they're not really that interested, I try to pull out everything I can from that conversation. So if they're telling me what they do, I ask more about, like, well, how does that work? Like, help me understand that. Or like, I will ask for, if they're a parent, and say they got a 10-year-old. All right, Susie Q, Joe Schmo, where your kids at now 10, and my kids are 3 and 5. What dad tips do you got for me? And they'll go in. So like, I am always trying to pull life lessons. I don't want to have to wait till my kid's 10 to learn that lesson. And for example, if HR, if you're talking to someone in HR that's already there, walk me through your first 5 years of your career. So if they're 5 years into it, or 10 years into it, whatever, what would you tell yourself if you started all over again? Like, what would you have done differently, and what would you have kept doing? What was the right thing to do? What was the wrong thing to do? Because what you're doing is you're basically saying, hey, if you're me, what's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do?
And have an outlet too. Now shut up. Have a professional outlet and a personal outlet. Especially if you are entrepreneurial spirit, whether it's working for yourself or working for someone else, but you have that flexibility. So for me, my professional outlet is teaching college. You really think I'm doing this for the money? Okay, this is like a tank of gas. Okay, especially today. But I do it because I like it. It's fun. I get to maybe make a difference to one of you or a few of you each semester. And, you know, when my book comes out in a couple years, I can put professor on it. Makes me sound credible. Okay, even though I don't know what I'm talking about. And then have a personal outlet just for you. So for me, now that it's nice out, when I'm losing my I get in the car, I drive up the road, I put my clubs in my car officially last week, and I go hit a bucket of golf balls. And sometimes it's very mean when I strike the ball, okay? And sometimes, you know, I'm left-handed, so, you know, I hit it on the first tee and it ends up on the 18th green, okay? Because I have a natural hook, and I played baseball in college and football, so I still hit it like a baseball, but that's my outlet. That's my
It's a legal outlet.
Yeah, it's my personal outlet. You know, in the wintertime, on my iPad, there's a World Golf Tour game, and it's fun, and you get to play like Pebble Beach and St. Andrews and all this stuff, and you think, oh my God, I'm shooting 300 at St. Andrews, and then you F it up and you're 18 over, just like it would be in real life. But that's my outlet. Okay, so find an outlet for you. You know, you work out. There's your outlet. You're pissed, you're stressed, you go work out. You know, you're pissed, you're stressed, you go do stuff.
And I think when I'm saying make it a legal outlet or like
something
something that's
like
legal to be champion is like healthy. I think is the correct word.
Yeah.
To make it go. So like
and like my
something
boxing
like,
announcing.
Yeah.
That it's fun. I have a fight this weekend in West Virginia.
Yeah.
I leave Saturday morning, go home Sunday morning, and make a few bucks, get to wear some makeup, get in the ring. It's fun.
So like we was talking about like me and it's about what he's doing now. Why I'm here, like talking about have healthy outlets is this fulfills my purpose. So the one line that defines my existence is that it's in a poem called "Success" by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Is to know one life has breathed easier because you live. This is to succeed. So like my goal today was I'm gonna get up here. I'm going to go on my ranks, but I'm hoping that one thing is going to make your life a little easier. You're going to breathe a little easier when you leave here. So like, okay, maybe what I was thinking about before, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'm not so stressed about that. But having a healthy outlet is super important. We got 4 minutes-ish. So I think you volunteered.
Sure.
Sure. Wait, what's your name?
Amy.
Amy? All right.
She's Lake County girl.
Lake County, what part?
Like,
Willoughby? That's okay. That's where I grew up. So you go to
graduated from South.
Okay, me too. All right. Yeah, good times, Willoughby. So, Amy, what is we're talking about goal, plan, action. So start here. Okay, this is like real high level. Like you're gonna be, even though this is kind of high level stuff, as you plan every 5 years. It can seem crazy, seem psycho, right? But to me, the crazy psycho thing is to not have any direction or idea for your life. To just wander through life. That's where most people are at. Is they have no idea why they're making the decisions they're making. It's like they make decisions, they're miserable because they made the decision, but they could have easily identified, well, that's the wrong decision because that's not going to make me happy. So this goal, plan, action, this could be something that you could do right now. So let's think of like, what's a goal you have right now?
Well,
What do you want? What's important to you?
I want to intern the most I can at the most places and like network a lot. Yeah, when I
Intern?
graduate, I want something more promising than like applying to a bunch of places.
Okay. And what year are you?
I'm 24.
Okay, are you a senior then, or are you?
Yeah.
Senior. Okay. You graduate in a month?
Huh?
Graduate in like a month, right?
I graduate next May.
Next May. Okay. I have no concept of time, so I just kind of, sorry. Once you're out of school, then every day is a school day. But all right, so you have a year. All right, so it's like a 1 year goal. Intern. So you say intern is as many places as possible. For her, could that end her up in the wrong internship? She's like, I want them all. Right? So what's your major?
Human resource too.
All right, sweet. HR, cool. Please reach out.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, please reach out. So, all right, so let's go 3. I try to keep three or less. I can't remember anything more than 3. Most people are smarter than me, can do that. But so, all right, so intern, first lead, talk to James. My wife's name is Erica. So there's a lead.
Do you know Alicia by any chance?
Who?
She used to work there. Her name is Alicia King.
Alicia King, Erica might know her. Erica might, so, yeah. So that's the company's Avery Dennison. I didn't know anything about them until my wife started working there, but they do a lot of cool stuff. They're global. They take good care of their people. So what's a second? Magic wand, no restrictions. That's another thing. Ask yourself, magic wand, no restrictions. What company am I working at? Who am I working with? What does it look like? You know what I mean? Like you have to get the picture perfect vision and goal, and then work backwards from there. So what's like a place you would want to work at so badly? Maybe it sucks. Maybe you don't, but right now you're like, this would be the spot.
I honestly don't know.
Okay. So are you going to be staying in Lake County like during the
No,
summer?
I really want to go to Seattle.
Seattle? Starbucks headquarters in Seattle? Okay, so I'm not saying go there, but okay, so this is how we can start to identify. First off, don't reach out. We're not, maybe they are, okay. Maybe they are in Seattle. If Avery Dennison's in Seattle, then forget it. Okay, so we can say Starbucks. I think Amazon's in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Who else in Seattle?
Google's in California, right?
What's that?
Google's in California.
Google, yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Dang, I don't know. I don't live out there yet.
Mariners?
So yeah, so
It's
just
like a baby too. Like if I got something promising here, I wouldn't leave there. But.
okay. So maybe we come back. You're like, all right, well, I can't be. You're just again, the internet's awesome. Just literally search top companies in Seattle, and then say these are the only 2 that you want to apply as an Avery Dennison. I'm not saying don't apply at a bunch. You're gonna have to apply at a bunch, right? We know that. My wife, before she landed the job at Avery Dennison, this was her 100th application. And she had her master's, she had her bachelor's, like, you know, so just kind of like, you're gonna have to fight, okay? You're gonna have to really fight for the career you want. And then once you're in it, you're gonna have to even fight even harder, okay? But if you make it a game, if it's following your personal mission and your legacy and it's fulfilling your life, work isn't work. There's certain things about what I do that, you know, drive me crazy sometimes, but I get excited to get the day started. Okay, that's what we want. So, all right. So here's the goal. What's the plan? How do we end up there? Networking. Okay. Who do I know that maybe works at these companies that can help me get a foot in the door? Right. This is huge. Heinen's grocery store. I always say it's the Heinen's Mafia because, like, to get a job there, you have to know like 12 people in dairy, 18 people in the meat department, and you know. So I knew the wine lady lived on our street growing up, so that's how I was able to get a job. So networking, you have to be asking for help. Is it embarrassing to ask for help sometimes? Most people don't ask for help, right? It's human nature. We're embarrassed. We would rather struggle and fail and be miserable than to ask for help. So, if you can pretty please stop doing that. And when you need help, ask for it. That changed my life in a big way. Because I'm not too proud to ask for help and say, hey, I suck at this. I'm not good at this. Can you please help me? Help me learn. Help me understand. So networking. So that's the plan. What else? So networking, you gotta actually search online maybe, right? Go to the website. And then what's the action you absolutely have to do? So this is all goals and planning are fun, right? This is where most people get to. They love to talk. They love to plan. They love to just have all these dreams, right? When it comes to the action, actually doing, fear kicks in. You know, you start questioning yourself. What if they don't accept me? What if I can't get the internship? What if maybe Seattle sucks? I don't think it does. Because they invented Nirvana.
Go for it, I guess I would just put that.
Go for it. All right. So here's the question: you are going to go for it. Is go for it an action that is you can? Are you actually? If you go for it, is that specific enough to like tie like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and all this will happen? You have to apply online, right? Action 1, action 2. Yeah. So call, email, text.
I think educate yourself.
Hmm?
Because
Research. So that's, I would say, yeah, so that's more in here. Research, educate myself. That's the plan. But research and educating yourself, knowing more about the internship is not going to get you the internship, right? Once you get the interview, then I would relentlessly nerd out on what is this company about, like what's their mission statement, what's their vision, all that. Apply online, call, email, text, and just get in a good way, get in the face of connectors. So when I talk about our secret society group that we have, it's a masterminding group, it's all about connecting. Who do I know that's connected? Maybe they don't know anybody that I'm aware of, or maybe they do have people here. So you have to get in front of the people that get you the connections so you can apply for that internship on a favorable basis. Or you got to go on, online. And so either way, this is it. If you don't do this, none of this will happen. Does that make sense? It seems simple, but is it very easy that it's going to be 6, 7, 8 months from now? You're like, crap, I didn't apply for any internship. I didn't apply for anything. I was going to. I had a plan. I was going to go for it. I'm not trying to but this is Captain Schleicher right here. I'm like, go for it, dude, let's do it. And then it ends, and then nothing gets done. So does this make sense? So this is how you can apply it to your life, is make sure your short-term goal, plan, and actions are a direct connection and a direct reflection of what you want out of your life. So Seattle, why Seattle? Forget this.
I just feel like there's a lot of opportunity there,
Mm-hmm.
especially for work.
Okay, and just like we were talking there, if you don't like Seattle, is it okay to come back?
Yeah.
Dude, you know who's in Seattle? Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
Really?
And Bill Gates, yeah, so I would definitely hit up Bill Gates and Bill Nye, the Science Guy. And I just thought, because I used to watch that when I was little, and now my 5-year-old is watching, we love volcanoes. So, anyway, was this helpful? Did I just waste my breath up here, or do you guys feel like you can take some of this and do something with it?
It's my ringer.
All right, cool. I didn't let you down? Is that?
Never do, bro.
This encore wasn't a letdown, so, well, thank you for letting me be here. We were 5 minutes over, I'm so sorry, I bet. So have fun, be awesome, and
I'll see you all Wednesday. Yeah,
see you all Wednesday.
I just realized that.
Go Falcons!